few notes, not great notes, because I'm like, this isn't your evaluation, so I just didn't.
Yeah.
About how you did yesterday, and the lesson itself was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lesson was, it met the standard, and it went along with what we had done the day before,
Mm-hmm.
and it built on what the kids' understanding, so it was fine. I like the warm up, the north, south, east, and west thing. The kids were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. One of the things though I kind of noticed was that a lot of the kids weren't understanding about the baseball and the football because you didn't really have a visual. It's like, here's your baseball, okay, where's your football going to go? Where's the next thing going to go? And they weren't sure what you meant because they're, please draw a line or draw a point.
Oh, okay.
You
I
know,
wasn't just like defining what.
Yeah, they were.
Okay,
They were a little confused about what did she want me to do? So that I would have clarified just a little bit. Then the biggest thing though and this is a group needs that, is the talking.
Yeah. And I think, and I was talking to my my coworkers about it later, and I was like, I don't know if it's just that I'm so used to such a busy environment that I kind of forget that classrooms aren't like that, because I'm so used to working with a bunch of kids that are like running around, and I'm like, oh, people talk and they get a little wild, but it's not really the behavior you expect at school. And so that for me is something I was like, probably gonna need to work on that.
Yeah, and that was the one thing, because I remember walking around and I said a couple of times, and all of a sudden the volume dropped. And it's like, and the reason that is because we have a lot of kids who are very distractible. If there's a lot of noise going on, they're going to be missing whatever you're saying.
True.
So and you could see that when we started doing the next activity with the number line. Again, they weren't sure what you were asking. They weren't sure what what is the fraction for this? And they're like, well, wait, what's the number line up there for? And they, because they were missing part of what the directions were. The other thing too is when you went from the warm up to the lesson, there was no pause or transition or even like a mini wrap up. They just went. The kids didn't even know that they started the lesson.
Okay.
They thought they were still doing warm up problems, which is a different mentality than the actual lesson.
Okay.
So it was just like, and that was the one thing I noticed. Like, whoa, the kids are like, we're into the lesson, and I knew that. They had no clue what we were talking about. Why were we talking about a number line with different numbers? And you did mention rational numbers really quickly, but that was it. There was no explanation. Do we know what rational numbers are?
Okay.
Let's take a step back and just you say, we're talking. You guys did integers. Now we're doing rational numbers. Choom, and like I said, half the class is still talking, so they're not even sure what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's just, and it's more just, and this is your first time in front of this group. So I'm like, she needs to feel this one out so she can get it, out of these kids.
And I think I was trying to figure out how comfortable I was, like, with discipline and with that sort of thing. And so, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, and this is a chatty group. So you have to come in, and I still struggle with that, but I make sure that I stop and I wait till they're quiet. Yeah. Because if you don't have all eyes, you don't have all ears. If you don't have all eyes and ears, you don't have brains.
I was like afraid of not getting through as much as I needed to get through, and I was like, I don't know.
And it's okay. And it's, of course, nervous. And am I covering everything properly? And and just taking some time to get clarifying questions. Okay, so what did we just talk about? Give me a rational number on this number line. What is rational number? Just kind of get a temperature check as you go along. And it's kind of like a formative assessment, but it's really just like I call it status checks. I just how did we get that? Do we have any questions? How comfortable are you guys with this? That way, if there are kids that are not getting it, they're more likely to say, "What? I don't quite understand that." So. That was one thing that we definitely be working on and stuff. And the other things, and this was not yours because you weren't in here to see a lesson for math, is that when you're done with a problem, you tell them to erase. Okay. That's why they were asking, can we erase? Because I make sure and I check and I walk around the room. So they're not allowed to erase their answers until I tell them to. Okay. And this is, again, it's for me doing a real informal, who got it, who didn't. Right. where do we need to make misconceptions? Like we were walking around with the numbered
Yeah.
thing on the boxes instead of on the lines.
Right.
And that's where you want to walk around and make sure you change that, because if you tried to go into the lesson with kids still in boxes, it would have messed them up.
Right.
So that was, so you just walk around and make sure, and again, I make sure that they have answered the questions properly. Sometimes I have to show explanations on my warm-ups. I have,
Yeah.
write the words out and tell me how you solve that problem.
That was the part I forgot. I think I
Yeah.
remembered it from the lesson, from watching it, and then I got into it and I forgot like the whole, I think I even wrote it down. Half of the whiteboard is the
Problem.
and half of it is the explanation.
Right.
And then I totally blanked on that.
Yeah. And that's okay, because that's
Yeah.
the way, if you don't make those mistakes, how do you know how to improve on them and that kind of stuff? So that's, just getting a feel for the way that the kids are and the flow.
Yeah.
And I really would like for you to come in and see a notebook lesson.
Yeah, I would.
Because that way, that's how you be introduced, new concepts. Although this wasn't really a new concept, this was an add-on to the one I'd done before. Guys, 2 minutes, please. Okay, thank you. So I really would love for you to come in and see how we do a notebook lesson and see how that kind of flows.
Yeah.
And then, so this one was a little bit more informal because it was an add-on to the next, for the lesson we did before. So the lesson was fine, and right on the standard and everything. So it's just, getting the flow and the kids and some of the management, which again, you have to get in there and get your feet wet in order to do. So,
Cool.